If the majority of your team is, lazy people, the majority of the team is undriven, people aren't driven, unmotivated, that's who you're going to be.
Dad always would say, it's not the start of the race, but the finish. So I said, let's come back in this, when we come back in this locker room, let's be able to say we competed.
And they're all special. That's what I try to tell everybody when they say, which one, how does this one feel compared to all the rest? They all feel amazing. There's never been one that felt bad. It's like Christmas. People say, how was your Christmas? I never had a bad one.
And they can be great at both things. A lot of people say you can't be a great mom, can't be a great coach, can't do this and that, and I think you can do it all.
Well, we are finally here. The Final Four is tomorrow night. It's pretty unbelievable how fast the season is gone, the tournament is gone. I feel like I kind of just made my bracket picks, just the other day. Now we're already down to the last 4 teams, but the tournament has been nothing short of spectacular so far, and I am looking forward to these Final Four matchups. Even though we've already had a ton of great games, I'm thinking that we're going to get a couple more. So obviously we've got South Carolina and Stanford, and then we've got Arizona and UConn in the late night game. So again, I'm going to be covering all 4 of these teams, kind of what they've done throughout the tournament in order to have so much success to get them to this point, not just on the offensive end, but even more importantly on the defensive end. So I hope you guys do enjoy the video. Another X's and O's breakdown coming at you, and looking forward to these big games. So if you do enjoy the videos, make sure you leave a comment below who you think is gonna take home the championship this year. And without further ado, let's get right to it, starting with South Carolina. All right, Dawn Staley's squad is ready for another run in the Final Four, and their strengths to me lie in obviously many areas, but we're going to focus on 3 main concepts, which I believe are their points in the paint, their defensive versatility, and their ability to push the ball up the floor with pace and get out in transition. All right, before we get to those 3 things though, I do want to point out this opening play that South Carolina tends to run at the beginning of each game, whether or not it's the first play like it was in Texas, or you're seeing here just in the first quarter. It's kind of like a floppy action is what I would like to call it, kind of like an NBA term, where there's a single and a double screen, where Zia Cook typically is the one coming off. She's going to choose which side she wants to come off of. And as a defender, this is tough to guard because you're in the middle of the floor pretty much on an island, and you just have to react to whichever way she goes. And somebody like Zia Cook, who is really, really fast, is not an easy chase behind a screen, and the ability that she has to shoot the ball forces you to not be able to shoot the gap either, because she will fade back for a shot.
And whoever can take care of the basketball the best is going to have the best chance to win.
And here you're going to see the defense go through the middle like what I was just saying, and Destiny Henderson instead is going to knock down a shot.
You can't shut a player down like Zia. Like as a coach, you can't just say, don't shoot the ball, don't. You have to teach her along the way.
So Dawn Staley was talking about how Zia Cook got some heat earlier in the season for maybe taking some contested shots or some looks that, maybe a fan wouldn't love to watch. But Dawn Staley's absolutely right when she's talking about you got to let a player play, especially someone like Zia Cook who has the ability to play isolation basketball and to create her own shot. When she's feeling good, you see how good this South Carolina team can be. You're seeing her finishing ability here in transition, along with Destiny Henderson, who's another speedy guard that just has the ability to finish just not over the first defender, but over that help defender. And that's where South Carolina really separates themselves, their ability to finish at the rim in transition with speed that is unmatched. At the same time, Zia Cook knows that getting the ball to Aaliyah Boston in the post is actually going to make it a lot easier for her to score.
We got to play as a team. We've had some spurts where we weren't playing as a team. Everyone wasn't getting involved and the flow wasn't there. So that's the main thing we're working on now, making sure the flow is there. Everyone's touching the ball, running it through Aaliyah. She's a very key factor to this team, rebounding and just doing everything we need to do to win.
And over their last 5 games, this is exactly what they've been doing. You see here, they have 4 players in double figures, and 3 of them are shooting over 40% from the field. So they're definitely sharing the ball and getting touches everywhere on the court. Now, you're going to notice in stark contrast to their ability to get out in transition and really be lethal there, when they do get opportunities to slow the ball up in the half court or from an after timeout situation, they will take their time and get into sets. They love elbow entry sets where they can find mismatches in the post area. Bria Beal and Victoria Saxton have made a living off of just finding a player that's out of position and sealing them up in order to catch a lob pass from the top of the floor. Whenever they have a mismatch, which feels like often because of their athleticism, they're really just able to outjump their opponent for easy layups. Credit goes to the guards for being able to make a lot of these entry passes, and then it's also nice to have someone like Aaliyah Boston who can just turn off of a down screen and absolutely bury her defender for an easy 2. South Carolina scores a ton of their points in the paint, whereas their Final Four opponent in Stanford relies on the 3 ball. I'll be curious to see if Stanford decides to front and back the posts, or if they're just going to wall up and try and make the South Carolina girls not be able to bury them and just force them to score over their defenders.
But when they're able to tangibly do what they did today, they made huge strides. And that's all we were trying to do throughout the season, is get them to a point where we can compete for a national championship.
Now, the last thing I'll say about South Carolina is that they're definitely ready to compete for a national championship, like Dawn Staley said, and it's not just because of their offense. It's mostly because of their defense. Remember, they kept Texas, a team who just upset the highest scoring team in the country in Maryland, to 0 points in the 4th quarter. That's pretty unbelievable. South Carolina's versatility, especially on Texas's dribble drive actions where they just want to go back and forth from side to side of the floor, and South Carolina's ability to just switch these little handoffs and blur screens is really what kept Texas out of the paint and unable to get easy baskets. And even when it was Texas's small forwards getting these little handoffs, South Carolina's posts were able to just slide under and meet. And you'll notice that the South Carolina players were never late or were never getting beat to the spot on any of this dribble drive action. This game was really slow in terms of pace. Every time up and down the floor, both coaches seemed to call a play unless it was a fast break situation. Texas ran a bunch of stagger screens, but South Carolina's speed and athleticism in terms of their guards chasing these screens hard didn't faze them at all. They were able to either chase or shoot right through the middle and get right back to square in order to be in great defensive position. And South Carolina as a team defensively is holding teams to under 40% field goal percentage in the paint. But let's remember, Stanford's game isn't played through the paint, so it will be interesting to see how South Carolina is going to defend the versatile forwards that we're about to get into next with the Stanford Cardinal.
I challenged our team at halftime, and I'm really proud of how people stepped up.
Thanks to an unbelievable second half with lights out shooting, thanks to Ashton Prechtel, who came off of the bench, Stanford was really close to being sent home. Their ability to shoot the 3 really keeps them in any game, and their posts can handle the ball like guards, making them a matchup nightmare for opposing bigs. And when you don't miss much, it's pretty easy to win a lot of games. You saw they struggled in the first half when their 3s weren't going down. So for South Carolina, the key to this game is going to be to run them off the 3-point line, make them take mid-range 2s, and again, I say it in every video, but 3s are worth more than 2. What makes them even better is that all 5 players on the floor can shoot the 3. We saw post players like Ashton Prechtel come in and have huge games right off the bench. So they move off of the ball in their Princeton-like offense, cutting and screening for each other to get these open shots. Okay, I love this set here. It starts with a typical chin action, dribble handoff, ball reversal, but there's no flare screen at the elbow, right? Usually there's a little bit of a flare screen with a post. Instead, Lexi Hull goes right into a fake down screen with Fran Belibi. The post jumps out thinking that she's going to have to chase off of a down screen. Instead, back cuts, they elbow entry, jump shot. Watch as both players head towards the screen. They raise their hand, giving the screen signal, and this tells the defense that they're going to set a screen. They both know that they're not going to go set a screen, but their body language sells the cut and gets them open. You see Haley Jones here is their dynamic stretch 4 who can pretty much do it all. She plays like a guard out on the perimeter, can drop dimes like you see here, get to the rim. The shot blocking presence of South Carolina is definitely going to be a factor though, so I don't know how much success she'll have driving to the basket, but her ability to knock down that mid-range shot could be a difference maker. Okay, another one of my favorite sets. Here you're going to see a little stagger screen and then a screen for the first screener. So watch this one again in slow motion. There's a screen with an automatic curl read by the guard. Watch Prechtel's defender slightly help on that curl, creating room for Haley Jones to set that second down screen to get Prechtel the wide open shot on the wing. She finished 6 for 6 with 16 points, and look at her parents' reaction. This is what the NCAA tournament is all about.
She played great defense. She rebounded, and obviously I thought her three was the shot that really just kind of said, all right, we're back.
Stanford's leader, KIANA Williams, struggled in the first half, but she came alive in the second half. I just want to break down a couple of the reads she made off of the ball screen that I thought were really impressive, just playing within herself and not going too fast. Here, the help defender on the weak side is already loaded up, so she just makes the easy pass right to her teammate. Nothing fancy about it. She shows great patience on the pick and roll by always waiting for the screen and then not going off 100 miles an hour. Watch how she engages a screener's defender and sees that there's no help on the roll and just throws it up for Cameron Brink to lay it in. Nobody's going under screens with KIANA Williams. She's too good of a shooter. So once she gets that defender to go over, she's already beat her man. Now she's reading the screener's defender, and that's the level 2 defender. So she's reading. If that defender is too far back, she's going to go and shoot that mid-range pull-up right around the nail in the foul line area. Which honestly, if I'm playing drop coverage, that's the shot that I'm okay giving up. She uses a high-level move, which is called a hostage dribble here, to keep her defender on her back, and then on that last dribble, she takes a hard pound to get away and create space to be able to elevate into that jumper. In this one, she uses the same move off of a side pick and roll to draw the help defender, and then hits Prechtel for the pick and pop. All right, on to the second game of the Final Four. The UConn Huskies will be taking on the Arizona Wildcats. Now, I've covered UConn in the last 2 videos, so I'm not going to go too far in depth here because I've done a ton on them already.
The biggest thing for our team is just coming together when times are tough and sticking together and never losing that confidence.
They stuck together and came back from a 10-point deficit against Baylor. I just kind of want to show you guys UConn's off-the-ball actions and how they play off of the high post. And first, that's Paige Becker's back cuts. She back cuts better than anybody in this league. And again, she was just named National Player of the Year as a freshman, and this is why. Her back cut draws so much attention. You see this one, Aubrey Griffin gets a wide open shot because the on-ball defenders are so worried about her back cutting towards the hoop.
I think when she went out, obviously you hate to see somebody get injured, but I think we just try to take advantage of it.
All right, so it felt like all game, Baylor's guards were going under all the ball screens and handoffs, regardless of who it was. Westbrook shot the ball well. They were going under her as well. So when a defender goes underneath a handoff or a ball screen, and as the screener defender comes off, they kind of pull the ball back right behind the screen, I just call that shot a sit behind. So they got a ton of those, and they were making them. I actually hope that Arizona sticks with their usual game plan of being super aggressive in the ball screen coverages and tries to jam up these handoffs. Again, they got to watch the back cuts, because if you're going to jam up a handoff, you're going to give up back cuts. But I love here how they go over the screen and really contest Becker's jumper. Don't let her go to her right hand, first of all. I would ice her. If I was on the left side of the floor, I would send her to her left hand and make her shoot the ball going that way. Don't let her go to the middle of the floor towards her right hand. Now, if she's on the right side of the floor, I would send her to the middle. And I know that's complicated, and I'm sure, these coaches are a lot smarter than I am, but, for some reason, nobody seems to be able to force this girl to her left hand. And maybe that is exactly why she is the National Player of the Year. All right, advanced shooting numbers for Paige Beckers. Look at the left side of the floor in the mid-range, which most of her shots are coming from the mid-range. She shoots threes, obviously, but she loves the mid-range. So 43% on the left side, 36%, above the elbow, free throw line extended. On the right side, 50% along the baseline area, 52% above the break on the right side. I know it might not seem like a huge difference, but with UConn, anything you can do to slow them down just a little bit could make a huge difference. And of course, for anyone who watched the Baylor-UConn game, which was definitely the best game so far in terms of entertainment value in this women's tournament, this is what Gino had to say when we asked about the foul call at the end.
Coach Mulkey's claiming after the game that last play was a foul. Was it one of the situations where it could have gone 50-50, or was it a foul?
I don't know. I haven't seen it. But I'd also like to look at all the fouls in the first half where they shot 11 free throws and we shot 2.
That was an insane game and a crazy ending, and whether or not you agree with the call that was or wasn't made, it doesn't really matter at this point because the Arizona Wildcats are waiting to face UConn in the Final Four.
This means a lot. It's a surreal moment. Literally, I was on Facebook yesterday, and yesterday made it a year that I said I was coming back. I mean, it's just crazy how things come full circle. I mean, you make goals, and to see yourself and your team achieve them, like, this is a big deal. We just created more history.
All right, Ari McDonald has been exceptional in the pick and roll all tournament. Again versus Indiana, anytime they went under, they automatic rescreen. She uses it, she gets right back to where the screen came from, and then on the rescreen forces the over. So anytime a defender goes under the screen, you want to always rescreen even lower than the original screen. So now you're forcing the defender to go over the second screen, because if they go under the second screen, it's going to be way too easy of a shot because you are now closer to the basket.
She's been amazing. Stars make big plays, and they step up when it really counts. No one remembers how you start, they remember how you finish. And Ari said it perfectly. At times this year she struggled a little bit. I think that wasn't letting the game come to her, really trying to really carry us so much. And I think that I've seen a different area in the tournament, just more relaxed, more at ease, really leading the team in so many different ways.
Ari McDonald has gotten hot at the right time. She saved her best basketball for March. In her last 5 games, she shot 47% from 3, 50% from 2, and overall 49.5% from the field. Those numbers are legit. Not only is she just flat out explosive, look at this change of direction, getting to the rim back to her left hand. She's also finding her teammates out of the pick and roll. Watch these 2 level 3 reads where she gets by her man, beats the help, and then reads the second line of help to kick out to shooters around the perimeter. And these are the types of plays that Arizona is gonna have to make if they want a chance at beating UConn.
I'm looking in their eyes, and there's a fire, there's a belief, there's a confidence, there's a will to win, and I love that.
All right, guys, that's gonna wrap up this one. If you've made it this far into the video, I appreciate you. As always, again, leave your comments below, thoughts below. Let's have a nice women's basketball debate on who's gonna take home the championship this year. But happy watching. Games are tonight. Hope you enjoy. See you in the next video.